Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is fine. Uh, can you hear my voice? Mr. Mahmood, can you hear my voice? Miss Aisha, can you hear me?
Very faintly, so very
Okay,
faintly.
okay, thank you so much. Okay, now I request everyone, I send one link in the chat. This is a link for the playground. If everyone can join this, it will be good for us because some activities are there in this presentation. So if you join the playground, so we can start our presentation. Thank you. Those who join, I request others also, if you can join I send the link and the code in the chat. Okay. So today, the presentation is about tracking students' performance and data informed decision making. So the word data, the important word in this presentation is data. And sometimes people get nervous, especially those who are, scared of math. So it's very difficult for us to understand how we can, you know, deal with the data. So I will start now. The agenda of this presentation is tracking student performance matters when we will move into how we will collect and analyze data and finally look at a real case study. And this case study I have taken from my class from grade 6. And in that, I will use three different methods to collect the data. One is from the diagnostic test, one is from the Aleph, and a third one I will take from the LMS. And at the end of this, we will understand what are the key insights, what are the challenges, and what action plan we can do. So basically, it is from why should I care to what should I do tomorrow. Now, why tracking matters? Now, tracking student performance is no longer optional. It is important or it is very essential to track student performance. It helps us identify struggling students, adjust our instruction, and provide evidence when talking to parents or the leadership. I feel that class understands, when we understand our class with the help of the data. And so these are the matters: early identification, informed planning, accountability, differentiation, parent communication, and a school-wide improvement. Or for all these, we need data. Now there is one question in your screen. If you can give answer, why, which of the following is not a reason why tracking student performance matter? Okay, so there is early identification, informed planning, school-wide improvement, and increased homework. Which one is not the reason? Okay, I will end. Okay, so there are five teachers who are participating in, and two of them give the correct answer. That is increased homework. So increased homework is not a reason for tracking student performance. Now, there is next slide is about data informed decision making. Now, this in this slide, we have three steps. First is collect the data, analyze the data, and act on the data. The key idea here is data does not replace the teacher. It empowers the teacher. Data tell us what is happening inside the classroom or happening inside the lesson. We as a teacher, we have to figure out why and what to do next. Now, what are the methods of tracking student performance? Now, we track student performance basically on three major things. One is formative assessment, which we do with our exit ticket or our quiz in LMS. The next one is the summative assessment, which we do at the end of the term. And then we have another platform that we use, digital platform like LMS and Aleph. And I tell you honestly, teachers already do most of this. The difference is now we are doing it systematically instead of relying on memory. Now, one more question you have. Select all the methods used for tracking student performance from the option below. So what do you think what are the methods from where we can use student tracking? You can give multiple answers. Okay, I will end this now. I hope everyone have given the answers. Okay, so okay, three teachers gave the answer formative assessment, two gave summative, and three gave digital platforms. All these three are the methods from where we can track the student performance. Correct. Now, types of data. So we collect three types of data. First is academic, from where we get scores and the mastery level of the students. Second, we get behavior, that is engagement of the student inside the classroom, inside the lesson. Third is attendance, presence and participation in the class every time. Because sometimes the issue is not about ability, it's about engagement. Some students they come, they participate, but they participate no not with the full heart. So we have to see how much they are engaged in the classroom. So these three where we collect the data. Now, data analyst techniques. Now, collecting data is very easy. The real power comes from analyzing it. The main thing is we have to analyze the data in a proper way. We look for the trends, we look for the gap, we look for the patterns. And here I just use one method, which is called drag method. And I will tell you what is the drag method. It is about the color, red, amber, green, and we have seen this in our LF also. When the students not score more than 33%, he get the red. And when the student able to score 100 or more than 50%, he get the amber color. Okay. So these are the techniques we use. And here is one important thing I write here is trying data triangulation. Now data triangulation is about I am using three data from diagnostic, from Aleph or from LMS. So I will use these three together. And that's why I mentioned here data triangulation. Now there is one more question. This is an open-ended question where you have to write, describe the process of identifying gaps. If you can give your answers, it will be very helpful. I request the teachers, those who joined a little bit late, please, if you can, you see the chat, there is a link and there is a code. Please join this activity. Okay. Multiple source, data triangle, quiz and test. Use multiple sources. Find weak areas and adjust teaching. Thank you so much for writing the answers. Okay, I will move to the next slide. Now, this is the method that I thought it will be helpful for the teachers who will use this data analysis method, and this is called RAG framework. And this slide shows how we classify students. Now, the red is for the urgent support of the students, those who need urgent support. Amber is for the students who are in a developing stage, and the green is for the proficient. So now here you can see blue and green, you can combine them in proficient. And each level has a clear action. Now, if you see at those students who are at risk, what we can do? We can give them one-to-one session. We can contact parents. We can provide them math pathway. In a math class we have this Aleph pathway, right, where we can give them some extra work for their basic knowledge. And for those who are in developing stage, we can make them as small groups, rearrange the students, give them some task where they can go for the higher level of questions. And for the proficient one, we can give them more high critical thinking questions. Now, next is data tools. That means where we can compare the platforms. Like if you see diagnostic test. Now, LF platform, LMS quiz, all these three tells about the strength and limitations are there for each platform. Like if I talk about diagnostic test, now diagnostic is good for the baseline. Baseline means if the student is coming in a grade 6, so diagnostic tells about how much he knows about for the grade 5. The basic concept of grade 5 is he understand that, and then we can proceed with the grade 6. Aleph, it tells about the mastery level of the students. And LMS is good for tracking progress of the students. So each platform have their own strength and their own limitation. Like if I talk about the primary purpose, diagnostic is for baseline prior knowledge. Aleph is for personalized learning, and LMS we use for our formative assessment. Now the timing is also there. Diagnostic we do at the start of the academic year. Aleph we do throughout the term, and LMS, some of the teachers they do the LMS quiz every week to check the knowledge of the students. And same like there are many things here where we can provide feedback also. In diagnostic we cannot give feedback, but in Aleph, we have this CMU, class management unit, for each lesson. And after each lesson, we can provide the feedback to the student, how much he is doing in this lesson. If he lack, where he lack, we can mention that. And LMS is also auto-graded system, but here also we have the system to provide the feedback to students. Now, another question. Which platform do you think is best for the formative assessment? You can give your own opinion. Now I will end this. So the correct answer is mostly we use LMS for the ongoing formative assessment. Now, next slide is about using data for instructional planning and intervention. Now, once we have the data, we start acting on the data. We group students like tier 1 is the proficient one, tier 2 is for the developing students, and tier 3 those who are at risk. Okay, so what we do for the students who are in tier 3, we provide them individual support. For tier 2 students, we push out or pull in different skill groups according to their level. And for the tier 1 students, those who are in the proficient level, we provide alternative explanation. Maybe one question I told them with one method, but I can tell them the another method also, so they can understand the another method also. We can provide them worked examples, higher critical thinking questions. We can provide them. Now, the case study, I will talk about the case study. And this case study for making the data, I took on my own class, grade 6, and I took the lesson area of triangle. And here I'm using three tools, diagnostic, Aleph, and LMS. Now, if you see a diagnostic test, now at the start, the class average, if I see the data, right? I have seen that out of 10 marks, how many students scored the marks. So I arranged them at their RAG framework. I told you the RAG framework is red, amber, and green. So those who score 8 to 10, they are in proficient level. Those who are scoring at 0 to 3, I put them at the risk. And those who are developing and approaching, I put them 4 to 7. Now, this is I used in my diagnostic test. So I can give uh, instructions and provide support to the students according to the framework. Now, second, I used Aleph data. Now, this is the lesson I taught my student in the class. And in this, if you see, the Aleph shows 75% average. So average means it is talking about the whole class. That sounds very good. 75% is very good number. But when we look closely, so there are some students, there are two students in this class, those who are below mastery and one didn't master at all. Now, one is scored 0% and the other scored 33%. Now, if I see the average, it will be difficult for me to understand who is able to understand the lesson or not. So after this, I will, again, I use this method, the RAG framework, and I will focus on the students, those who are at risk. Now, the third one is LMS quiz. Now, the LMS quiz shows a strong performance. Now, here, 82% class average, better than Aleph. Now, only one student who is at risk, which is at red. Now, what is the reason why he, gets 0%? So maybe some technical error. Maybe he opened the lesson, but he didn't finish the lesson on time. So I have to find out if the student at getting zero or coming at risk. So I have to, take initiative. In LMS, sorry, in Aleph, he scored 100. Then why in LMS he gets zero? So this data will help me to see where the students need the instruction, where he need the help of the teacher. Now, combining all these three is called triangulated data. When I combine all these three, now I will just take the first two entries. Okay. Now the first entry is about the first student in which he scored 3 out of 10. The Aleph percentage 67%, and LMS quiz he get 12 out of 20. Now the overall trend tells me about he is improving. Okay, from the diagnostic to LMS, he is improving. And what the action I will do for him, I will put him in a small group support where some students will come together and I will give them a task and they help each other and learn more. The second entry, if I talk about, the student get 2 out of 10 in the diagnostic test. In Aleph, he get 100%. But here in the LMS, he got zero. Now here is the contradiction, a big contradiction. Why Aleph 100%? Why LMS 0%? Now here I have to do investigation. I have to check whether there's a technical problem or what is the reason he gets zero in the quiz. And then I will give him another chance to do the LMS quiz and then see his performance. If he score good, then well and good. If he don't score good, then I have to check Aleph how he get 100. Maybe we all know that some students they take help of chat gpt and give the answer in the Aleph. So I have to check. So all this I have to investigate. Now, student growth, if you see from diagnostic to LMS, so there is a complete table. If you see, I we can make with the help of the data whatever we have. So here, if you see all the students from with their diagnostic test, how much they score and the status. So only one student I can see he is declining in the whole process. He is declining. And if you see 5 students, they are strong and 4 of them are moderate. So I will decide my next instruction or my next class based on this data. Now, identifying learning gaps and contradictions. Now, here, what we will do. Now, if you see those who are in critical, so there is the possible investigation we will do. First of all, we will find out the disengagement. We will check the technical issues. Maybe some students they have anxiety before the test. So we will check everything because in LMS in Aleph he is getting 100%, but LMS he is getting zero. So there are all these points I have mentioned here. If you see my screen, that what we can do for the students, those who are getting different scores in different tests like LMS, diagnostic, and Aleph. Now, instructional decision and intervention actions. Now, this is based on a timeline that when we can do this. Okay. Now, those who are at risk, they need urgent help. We have to provide one-to-one session. Okay, we can provide them another quiz, and we have to check for their test anxiety, and we have to notify the parents. This is the decision we have to take. Those who are in a high priority, we have to assign targeted Aleph remedial lessons that we in math we especially get in the pathways. We have to create a small group. Okay, we can recheck or ask them verbal questions where we can know that okay his understanding level is where. For those who are in developing, we what decision we can do? We can enroll in weekly small group interventions. Every week we can select one class, and there we can provide this small groups, provide them worked examples, worksheet, and assign with them the pairs with their own level. And those who are the high achievers, for them, we have to provide them extension problems. we have to provide the composite shapes. Now, this is where it comes critical thinking questions. We have to provide them from the current unit. Now, one question in your screen, please, if you can give answer. Okay, one answer is high priority. Thank you so much for guiding your answers. I will end this and we will move to the next slide. Thank you so much. Everyone have the same answer. Okay. Now setting smart goals with the students. Now this we all know, right? What are smart goals? Because every year at the start of the term, when we have to make our professional development plan, we also use this smart goals in our plans. Now we have to also make plans with the students based on the smart goals. And so everyone know about this. I will move to the next. Now, which component of SMART goals ensure that the goal is tied to curriculum, standards, and identify learning gaps? Okay, so I will stop this and we will see what is the correct answer. Now, many of us give specific, measurable, relevant, okay, and time bound. So the answer correct is relevant. Now, common challenges and evidence-based solutions. Now, what are the common challenges we see here? That first of all, the data. That if we take data for every lesson, it will be very overloaded for the teachers because we have to use too many platforms, and it creates confusion. So that's why I take three, majorly three. I took diagnostic, LF, LMS. But for every class, if we combine, it will be a big data for us. And time constraint, we have a challenge that, you know, we all have many classes and other duties also. We cannot do every day this kind of data, but once in a week or once in a month, we can do this to check where we have to provide intervention to our students. Now, data without action. Now, if we take action without the data, it is not of any use. So try to use data for in a week to provide instruction. Now, uh, inconsistent data. Now, if we have something missing in the data, like suppose if we don't have the diagnostic test in the start of the term, then our ALIF and LMS data will not give us the clear picture about the student's level from where he started and where he is right now. So, consistent of data is also very important. Now, if you see my data triangulation method, so I started from the diagnostic and I come to the quiz 3 for my lesson, that is area of triangle. And the diagnostic was telling me that the percentage was 45%. Now, after the quiz 3, I see 82%. Now, here I can see a big picture that the level of the student increased. And how much it increased? It increased by 37%. So when we make data and when we come to the end of the data, we get a bigger picture that our class is increasing, the level of the class is increased or not. So here is you see 80% is those who are in a proficient level, 10% of them are in a amber, that is developing stage, and 10 of them are at red, those who are at the risk level. Now, this is the last question, I hope. In the last slide, what is the percentage gain? I hope that everyone have seen that percentage gain. So this is about how attentive teachers are in the presentation. In the last slide, I show you from diagnostic to LMS, there was an increase uh, percentage of the level of students. What was the percentage you have seen? Okay, I will stop this game now. I will end. Okay, 37%. Thank you for giving the answer. Now, we will come to the conclusion, and to conclude, multiple data sources give clarity. Triangulation method that I used, it prevents mistake, and every student need a different approach. So here we see that those who are at the rack framework, I can give them different instructions in the further lesson. Now, multiple data source, use that. Diagnostic, ALIF, LMS give a richer picture than a single tool alone. If I do with the ALIF only, I will not get the clear picture. So if I combine with the LMS, maybe I will get a bigger picture. Now, triangulation reveals contradiction, confirm trends, and prevent dangerous misinterpretation of the class data. Now, here is by mistake I write 7A. It's about grade 6, improved 37%. Okay. And different students need different responses, enrichment for high achievers, urgent support for the contradictions. So these are the conclusions or takeaways that we can take from our presentation. Now, please, oh, this is open-ended question. 1 minute, I will make this work, and then I will stop this. Explain why multiple data sources, that is diagnostic, ALIF, and LMS, is important in understanding student progress. Okay. Give students more opportunity to perform, accommodate, rack style, more source of data is more reliable. Okay. Analyze where the student might need help and intervention to assess those students in a. Okay. Thank you for your response, teachers. Analyze where the student might need help and intervention. Okay. Use multiple data sources. Okay. Relying on a single source often provides an incomplete or biased picture of the learning. True. Give students more opportunity to perform, accommodate more sources of data. Okay. Target interventions. Thank you, teachers, for your answers. I will end this question now. Now, this is the last slide of our presentation, that every piece of data you collect represent a student's learning story. So it's very important for us, if we are collecting our data, we have to collect it very carefully so we can provide accurate instruction or feedback to the students. And if you have any questions, please let me know. This is the end of the presentation. And Mr. Abdul Qadir share the attendance link. If you please fill the attendance link, it will be very helpful. This is the end of the presentation. If you have any question, you can ask.
No question, sir. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashish.
Thank
This
you,
was a
ma'am.
great informative
Thank you.
session.